Sisters, Xiao Yu has arrived again. Today's chapter is the swordswoman version of a dramatic showdown extravaganza. The female lead is Reborn, armed with the script, and comes out swinging with a combo attack, taking down everyone who wronged her in one fell swoop without further ado. This lady has prepared her little stool and snacks. Let's begin. On the day of my wedding with my husband, a swordswoman barged in. She lifted my bridal veil and pinched my face with a giggle. She praised, "The bride's skin is so tender," then left gracefully. From that day on, a black ink stain appeared on my face that couldn't be washed off no matter what I tried. My husband found me repulsive and never stepped foot in my room again. My mother-in-law resented that I occupied the position of the mistress but couldn't bear children. Even my sister-in-law lamented her brother's misfortune for marrying such an ugly woman. I became the invisible mistress of the Marquis Manor, working tirelessly, managing household affairs, raising the adopted son, wholeheartedly planning for the Marquis Manor. Until I caught my husband and the swordswoman together, admiring flowers and enjoying an outing. Only then did I learn that my husband and the swordswoman had fallen for each other, at first sight long ago. The swordswoman was unwilling to be bound by the rules of the Marquis Manor and left my husband, yet couldn't bear to hand over her beloved to another, so she used a secret poison to ruin my appearance. And my husband had long since found the swordswoman and obtained the antidote, but swayed by her tears and tender affection, he threw away the antidote and promised her his unwavering devotion. He remained chaste for her at the Marquis Manor and lived in perfect harmony with her outside the manor, having a son and a daughter. The son was adopted by me to inherit the Marquis Manor's estate. The daughter stayed by their side to bring them joy and would take in a live-in son-in-law in the future. All these years, they lived in utter bliss, while I was the only one suffering. I secretly gave the swordswoman a muscle-weakening powder, then set fire to the villa. I notified my husband and son to come put out the fire, then had them all tied up together as thieves and thrown into the villa. Knowing I had committed a capital crime, I wrote a petition and beat the denunciation drum, accusing the Marquis Manor of favoring a mistress and humiliating the legitimate wife. The Marquis Manor was stripped of its title and demoted, and I was sentenced to death. The Empress pitied me and allowed me to divorce before dying. From then on, I was no longer a woman of the Liu family, but only a daughter of the Lai family. After my death, I saw everyone cursing the Marquis Manor, and also saw everyone calling me a venomous woman, right or wrong. Let people say what they will, but my life was indeed wasted. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day of my wedding. The swordswoman flew straight toward me with a playful smile. I quickly pulled my husband in front of me as a shield. This time, it was my husband's face that got stained with a large ink mark. I snapped back to reality amid Gu Feiyan's shocked cry. Realizing I had been reborn in my previous life on my wedding day, I was publicly humiliated with a blackened face. Gu Feiyan escaped with a playful laugh. Everyone's eyes fell on me. I was panic-stricken and at a loss, tears welling up in my eyes, yet I barely held them back. The maid supporting me tried to wipe off the black mark, but found it wouldn't come off. She could only hastily put the veil over my head at my mother-in-law's urging, deciding to proceed with the wedding ceremony first. At that time, none of us realized that ink stain would stay with me for the rest of my life. Today, looking at the ink stain on Liu Yu's face, two thoughts quickly emerged in my mind. First, I want this ink stain to remain on Liu Yu's face for a lifetime. I want him to regret what happened today until the day he dies. Second, I want Gu Feiyan to taste this pain too. I want them to love and hurt each other, suspect each other, and hate each other until death. Liu Yu saw Gu Feiyan escape and breathed a slight sigh of relief. He turned to look at me, but his face was full of blame. "Shang, you've really disappointed me. Let's call off the engagement." I coldly lifted the disheveled bridal veil and casually threw it on the ground. In my previous life, Liu Yu and I were married for over 20 years, but never had marital intimacy. He wanted to preserve his chastity for Gu Feiyan. He and I were merely strangers living under the same roof. In this life, he and I never completed the ceremony, so we can't be considered husband and wife. I want to be a daughter of the Lai family, not a wife of his Liu family. I never want to be tied to him again. Liu Yu was stunned. He reached out and grabbed my sleeve. "Shang, just because someone caused trouble, you want to call off the engagement." All around, people were shocked. Lu Yu's mother, Madame Qian, had an ashen expression. Lu Yu's sister, Lu Lian, also looked furious. I let out a scoff in my previous life. I also thought I was unlucky, having run into a crazy woman who ruined my entire life with her meddling. But later, I found out. Lu Yu, his mother, his younger sister, they all clearly knew of Ji Yufeiyan's existence, knew she had the secret medicine that could remove the ink mark on my face. Yet, they still collectively kept silent. My mother-in-law counted on me to manage the inner household. My sister-in-law relied on me to earn her dowry and back her up at her in-law's house. They hoped that my inferiority complex would drive me to push myself, exploit myself, and be a diligent workhorse constantly trying to please them, so they could use me reluctantly while looking down on me from their high horse. In this life, don't even think about splashing a single drop of dirty water on me. I said indifferently, "Young Master Lu, this ink mark is called Wushuang ink. Once it sticks to the skin, it is absolutely impossible to remove unless you have a specially formulated secret medicine. That person clearly came to ruin me. And that woman kept calling you Yu Lang. Young Master Lu, this is a romantic debt you've incurred, and I, Li Shengjun, absolutely refuse to marry someone who is half-hearted." Lu Yu was slightly startled, then his expression darkened. "Don't exaggerate. I admit that woman and I know each other, but there is absolutely nothing improper between us. Today was just her childish nonsense. Nothing more." Wait. I'm pausing right here for a second. Kids fooling around, Lu Yu. When you said that, didn't your conscience hurt at all? Gu Feiyan publicly ruined your fiancé's appearance at your wedding banquet, an ink stain that can never be washed away, destroying her reputation and marriage for life, and you call this kids fooling around, Lu Yu. Do you think everything your white moonlight does is just cute little willfulness? Today, I've witnessed just how thick a love filter can be. The filter is thicker and sturdier than a city wall, smothering all conscience to death. Thank goodness the female lead was reborn in this life and directly called off the engagement, giving the entire Lu family a wake. Up call, I'm standing up to applaud. Actually, love and lack of love are really quite clear. Her vicious cruelty was seen as nothing more than a child's mischief in his eyes. In my past life, I once went to Jingyan Nunnery to seek Buddha. I wanted to ask the most venerable old nun there, why has my life been so bitter? When I arrived, the old nun was wiping the hands of the little novices she had taken in. The little novices lined up one by one, waiting for the old nun to wash the cloth and wipe their hands and faces clean. Those little novices could have washed themselves, but because she had wiped the hands and face of one of them, they all wanted her to wipe theirs too. The old nun didn't find it troublesome at all. Her eyes were full of compassion. She told me that she didn't require them to become nuns when they grew up, only that they grow up healthy and free from illness and disaster. She said, "I know why the benefactor has come. If the benefactor cannot become a child again in front of him, he will not love you. If he cannot become a child again in front of the benefactor, then the benefactor will not love him either." I went down the mountain in a daze, suddenly felt that this marriage between me and Lu Yu was very fair. He doesn't love me, and I don't love him either. This is what I've been using to comfort myself for 20 years as a woman of the Lu family. Until I saw him and Gu Feiyan being all lovey-dovey, the scale called fairness in my heart became unbalanced. Because I discovered that Lu Yu could not love me, but as a man, he could openly and honestly love someone else. While I, as a woman, could never openly and honestly love anyone other than my own husband for my entire life. This marriage was not fair. If Lord Lu doesn't believe it, you can just wipe it with a cloth and see if you can remove the ink marks on your face. Lu Yu stared at me fixedly, never willing to lift his sleeve. I found it even more ironic. He didn't dare to verify it. He guessed that Gu Feiyan was very likely that kind of person. This made my disgust for him deepen another layer, and the anger in my heart surged up even more. He knew everything, yet he tormented me for a lifetime. He watched coldly as I humbly struggled to survive in the Lu family, but never once spoke a fair word for me. Because my sacrifice was the bargaining chip for his and Gu Feiyan's happiness. Even that son was probably given to me out of pity. What irony, but Lady Qian, Lu's mother, panicked and hurriedly took out a handkerchief to wipe it. Lu Yu didn't dare push his mother's hand away in public. so he let her wipe his face. Even though his skin was rubbed red, the ink mark didn't come off. Instead, it looked even more horrifying against the redness. Lu's mother panicked and immediately ordered someone to fetch Gu Feiyan. She wanted to persuade me again, but was stopped by my family members. Lu Yu's sister, Lu Lian, hurriedly said, "Sister Shangjin, do you really have no feelings for my brother at all? He has no romantic feelings for that woman. It is just her one-sided wishful thinking." I said coldly, "Miss Lu, the man I, Li Shangjin, want to marry is a talented young gentleman, absolutely not such an ugly husband. Wait until your brother's face is cleaned up before coming to find me. Otherwise, just looking at his face alone will make me lose my appetite." In my previous life, they enjoyed the affluent life I provided, yet still mocked me behind my back as an ugly woman like Wuyan, saying that one look at me would give them nightmares. Of course, this was an exaggeration. I always wore a veil over my face. They couldn't see the ink marks on my face. They simply wanted to break my heart, wanted to make me sad, because in this world my husband was the first to not love me, to bully me, so they also followed suit in insulting and bullying me. It is like a window with a broken hole. Those willing to fix the window are saints, but most mediocre people will only poke more and more holes in the window. I used to be that window with a broken hole. Now I will impartially deliver salvation to every evildoer. I returned home and immediately issued several orders. One was to send people to keep a constant watch on Lu Yu. Jiu Feiyan couldn't bear to see Lu Yu suffer, so she would definitely go back to find him. I wanted to make sure she'd never return, and I wanted Lu Yu to live his entire life with that ugly face. The second was to go to the Imperial Fragrance Tower in the capital city. It was the largest assassin organization in the capital city. I wanted to put out a bounty to have people hunt down Jiu Feiyan. In my previous life, I had tried every possible means to find Jiu Feiyan. With my photographic memory, I drew portraits of Gu Feiyan and tried every way to find people in the martial world, hoping to locate Jiu Feiyan and get the antidote from her. But Lu Yu furiously accused me of colluding with people from the martial world, saying I wanted to ruin his political career. At that time, I asked him how he found out. I had done this secretly, and the Imperial Fragrance Tower had even better confidentiality. They would never leak clients' privacy. He said coldly that it was discovered by political enemies, telling me to stop immediately and not cause him trouble. Only before my death did I finally understand it was clearly because Gu Feiyan had been injured while being hunted and came to him crying. That is when he came to me, using the excuse of affecting his political career to make me withdraw the assassination order. In this life, I want Gu Feiyan to live in fear every single day. Since she doesn't like being bound by the rules of the Marquis Manor, then let her spend her entire life wandering and homeless. The third was to summon the manor physician and give him a prescription to have him prepare wushuang ink. In my previous life, I could never find the antidote, so I could only work desperately to make money, bought several pharmacies, hired a few renowned doctors, and tackled it from the prescription angle. I thought as long as I could decipher the prescription, I'd naturally be able to find the antidote. Those renowned doctors were indeed capable and came up with a prescription similar to wushuang ink. And also tried to formulate an antidote. When that antidote was used on my face, it only faded the ink color a little, but didn't completely eliminate the ink marks on my face. Those renowned doctors said that perhaps one or two of the most crucial ingredients were missing, and those ingredients probably weren't from around here. Most likely they came from foreign lands. That Gu Feiyan had traveled far and wide in the past, journeying everywhere, so who knows where she got such a strange and peculiar thing. I felt regretful in my heart, but I wasn't discouraged. I had them modify the prescription, turning it into a wushuang ink with no antidote whatsoever. At that time, I actually harbored a thought in my heart. If I ever found Gu Feiyan someday, I would cover her entire face with the ink. I would make her regret what she did that day for the rest of her life. In my previous life, I used this prescription, gave her muscle-weakening powder, blackened her face. But she died too quickly. No one saw her blackened face. I didn't feel any satisfaction of avenging a great grudge at all, only an absurd feeling as if it were all a dream. Everything was too absurd because of his and her love-hate entanglements. I became a sacrifice to maintain their happy life. But no one ever asked if I was willing. In this life, she can forget about living in this world with a clean, unblemished face. The last thing, I did it myself. I changed into everyday clothes, brought my maids and servants, rode in a carriage, and went to a gathering. In a corner of the gathering, there were a man and a woman. The man stood holding a sword, eyes downcast, his handsome face full of impatience. The woman was performing tricks. She had plain features, quite ordinary, but she wielded her sword with nimble ferocity, making her whole person appear gallant and spirited. With an inner radiance, her eyes were resolute, not feeling ashamed for performing for money. After finishing her sword dance, she picked up a small basket to collect tips, but everyone scattered in a rush, afraid of being asked for money if they left too slowly, and some even spat. That woman's face remained calm. When she was about to reach me, I avoided eye contact and didn't give money either, turning instead to a nearby tea stall and ordering a cup of tea. That man said coldly, "I told you long ago this was useless, but you just wouldn't believe me." That woman didn't like hearing such sarcastic remarks and replied, "Senior brother Zhu, if you're willing to do it, then do it. If you're not willing, then just stand aside." Nobody asked you that man was called Zhu, the woman was called Qi. The two were fellow disciples and also Jiu Feiyan's enemies. In my previous life, I had already found out through various channels that the woman who harmed me was called Gu Feiyan, a somewhat famous female warrior in the martial arts world, with exceptionally graceful qinggong. She was innocent and lively, loved and hated clearly, and most enjoyed joining in on excitement. She stood up for justice and did good deeds, but if you accidentally provoked her, you'd better watch out for her revenge, turning everything upside down. Zhu and Kuhi's master, Song Yishan, was an old hand in the martial world. Later, wanting to retire from it, he held a golden basin hand-washing ceremony. On that day, if no one came to seek revenge on him, it would mean all grudges in the martial world were let go, and from then on he could return to a peaceful life. But Gu Feiyan just had to barge in and call out to Song Yishan, "Dad, did I agree to you washing your hands in the golden basin?" Then, with a grin, she knocked over the golden basin and left gracefully. Her casual dad seemed like Song Yishan got the better end of the deal. But Song Yishan had lived his whole life with integrity, loving his wife deeply and exclusively. The two had no children, so they took in Zhu and Kuhi as disciples to pass on their legacy, a woman suddenly popping up calling him dad and knocking over his golden basin. Not only did his golden basin hand-washing ceremony fail to happen, it also caused friction with his wife. His wife didn't believe anyone would just randomly call a stranger dad, and became convinced he had betrayed their love, leaving in anger. Song Yishan went after her and encountered an enemy on the road. That enemy had originally planned to call it even with him, but upon learning that his golden basin ceremony was ruined, and that a daughter had appeared out of nowhere, they felt his character was despicable, that heaven itself wouldn't allow him to wash his hands of the martial world, and that not avenging this would be intolerable to natural justice. That enemy had intended to just sever one of his arms to settle their grudge. But Song Yishan was desperate to find his wife, and both sides lost their tempers. Song Yishan was accidentally killed. His wife had calmed down halfway along the road and came back planning to talk things through, only to see her husband's corpse. Believing she had caused his death, she took her own life beside him. Zhu Wu and crew he embarked on the path of revenge from that point on. The two sold off their household belongings and searched everywhere for Jiu Feiyan. By now they had reached the end of their rope. Zhu Wu had always been proud and unwilling to perform for money, nor willing to work as a guard for others, so he thought of escorting cargo at an escort agency. But once you enter an escort agency, signing the contract binds you for several years. Qi disagreed, feeling that way they couldn't avenge their master quickly enough. So he planned to make a living by performing, and once they had money, go search for Gu Feiyan. In my previous life, when Gu Feiyan learned they were looking for her, she had people ambush them and beat them half to death. I picked them up and brought them home when I came down from Jingyan Nunnery. After they recovered from their injuries, they served under me. I hired renowned masters to teach them. After the two completed their training, they searched everywhere for Gu Feiyan. Later, Zhu came back carrying a severed head, saying he had already killed Gu Feiyan. But Gu Feiyan's mouth was tough. She'd rather destroy the antidote than hand it over. He failed to bring back the antidote, and most regrettably, Qi died as a result. At the time, I didn't suspect anything. I gave Zhu Wu some money to thank him for helping me get revenge, then let him go. I only regretted that Qi had died. At night, I burned incense and looked at the kind-faced Guanyin, really wanting to ask clearly his so-called revenge. Trading one life for another, worth it. Qi once said it was worth it. She said the Song Yishan couple treated her like their own daughter, and there is no reason for children to remain indifferent when their parents are killed. But in the end, I couldn't sleep at night. I kept an eternal lamp burning for her for many years. That resentment in my heart lingered on, never once fading away. I felt the revenge was deserved, but she should have lived too. Even if a life had to be traded, it should be one's own life for multiple lives. But later, when I set fire to Gu Feiyan's manor, I saw Zuwu desperately rush into the flames, trying to save Gu Feiyan. That is when I understood. I'd been deceived by Zuwu. That severed head wasn't Gu Feiyan's at all. It might even have been Qiuhe with her face disguised. That heartless bastard, he very likely killed Qiuhe. In this life, I found them early. I hope Qiuhe can see Zuwu's true face sooner. Also, I really want to know, what will Liu Yu's reaction be when he finds out there has always been an admirer hiding by Gu Feiyan's side? That feeling must be hilarious. Zuwu glared coldly at Qiuhe, then turned and strode away. Qiuhe rested for a while, then started hawking again. I watched her hustle until sunset, but she only earned a dozen or so copper coins. The road to her revenge is going to be a long one. When she was packing up her stall, I had my maid invite her over and asked if she'd be willing to work as my bodyguard. He immediately refused. I dipped my finger in tea and wrote 3 characters on the table. Gu Feiyan. She immediately froze, her face full of wariness. I smiled and said, Miss Q, our goals are the same. She is my enemy too. However, with your current skills, I'm afraid it won't be enough. She immediately knelt on one knee, cupped her fists in salute. Please instruct me. Miss, as long as I can avenge my master and his wife, I'm willing to be your servant for life. I helped her up, thinking silently to myself, good girl, I don't want you to be my servant. I only wish for you to live freely and happily in this world, just like me. On the way back, I stopped by the Jingnian nunnery and donated a sum of money to the still young Master Jing'an. Master Jing'an asked me, Benefactor, would you like to draw a divination stick? This humble nun is willing to interpret it for you. She was already quite famous and no longer interpreted divination sticks for people easily. But I shook my head and declined. My wish isn't something a divination stick can resolve. What keeps people from fearing poverty is becoming prosperous. What can truly let me put down my burden is avenging this great wrong right now. I can't see through it. And I don't want to see through it either. Master Jing'an smiled and said, Then this poor nun shall give the benefactor a word. Fate is by no means fixed. Every word and action of the benefactor contains destiny within it. Destiny changes, the only thing that doesn't change is change itself. This poor nun wishes the benefactor may have their wishes fulfilled. I pressed my palms together, returned the courtesy, and leisurely descended the mountain. At the foot of the mountain, I still had a tough battle to fight. Wait, this palace needs to pause for a second. Sister Shangjun just got reborn, hasn't even washed her face clean yet, and the first thing is to break off the engagement. Second thing is to capture Gu Feiyan. Third thing is to recruit Qiuhe. Fourth thing is to go to the nunnery to donate money and refuse fortune. Telling, by the way, sister, your to-do list is way too terrifying. If it were anyone else on their first day of rebirth, they'd be crying their head off already. But you've already lined up your revenge list and assembled your team on the side. Plus, you can still chat and laugh with Master Jing'an. This palace just wants to say one thing, sister. The 20 years of suffering in your previous life have all turned into composure in this life. Totally worth it. I brought Qiuhe back to the residence. And as soon as I entered, I faced a joint interrogation. Parents and countless pairs of eyes from relatives staring at me. They needed me to give an explanation. They treated me as a daughter of the Lai family. Publicly, they had been protecting me all day today. But privately, they needed me to explain clearly why I wanted to break off the engagement with the Liu family. I slowly knelt down and said softly, Father, Mother, all uncles and aunts. This daughter has brought shame to the Lai family, but having broken off this engagement, I have no regrets. Liu Yu is not worthy of me. Liu Yu had an affair with that woman. She was unwilling to be bound by the Marquis Manor's rules, so she abandoned Liu Yu and left, but she wasn't willing to let it go, which is why she deliberately tried to ruin my face at the wedding banquet. Liu Yu knew it full well, yet in front of everyone he couldn't bear to blame that woman even once. If I really married into the Marquis manor, I'd only have endless suffering waiting for me. The daughters of the Lai family can be frugal and hardworking, bearing hardships without complaint, but they shouldn't be schemed against to work like oxen and horses, bullied and exploited. Father's face looked terrible. Mother's eyes were full of sympathy. Everyone discussed amongst themselves, and uncle sighed and said, "But you were too willful." The Lai family has never had such an incident before. The Lai family was a prestigious scholarly family. In marriage matters, they only valued character. The daughters of the Lai family were of noble conduct with far-reaching reputations, never worrying about finding a match. When the Marquis manor came to propose the marriage, what they valued was precisely the Lai family's reputation. Father had investigated this person, Lu Yu. Those around him all gave very good evaluations of Lu Yu: dignified appearance, outstanding abilities, limitless prospects in the future. And even more rare was his noble character. He was someone worth cultivating. That day, Father asked Lu Yu 3 questions. Do you have someone you're fond of or any concubines? Will you take concubines, and can you accept having only one wife for life? Do you have any romantic debts outside? Have you ever made promises to others? Lu Yu firmly answered, no, Father had investigated, indeed there were none. At that time, none of us knew that he truly had nothing to do with the noble ladies of the capital, but would be getting all hot and heavy with some Jianghu woman far away from us. I also didn't know why he would say so firmly that he had nothing to do with Gu Feiyan. Perhaps they had a falling out back then. He was in a fit of anger at the time when he hated her most, so he could say such deceitful words without any burden. But Gu Feiyan's furious intrusion into the wedding banquet let him see clearly her duplicity and also understand his true heart. He truly didn't love me, and he was also truly madly in love with Gu Feiyan. My parents thought they had married me off to an exceptionally talented young man, thinking I would be as happy as they were, but on my first wedding night, I spent it sitting alone in silence. Lu Yu said, I will help you find that woman. He stayed with me through the night. After that, he was unwilling to come, and I was unwilling to go. We treated each other with courtesy and respect. Later on, he tried to persuade me to let go. I don't care about your face, you should let go too between men and women. Romantic love isn't necessary. Things are fine as they are now with each of us doing our duties. If a person were a tree, I feel my insides were withering day by day, because I had dried up to the point of not getting even a drop of moisture to nourish me. Everywhere in the Marquis manor were people who needed me, yet no one gave me a word of thanks in return. I wanted to resign myself to fate, but I was also unwilling, always wanting to struggle and make my life bloom into a flower. Even if it was a very, very small flower, at least my life would have been brilliant once. But there was nothing until death. I remained withered and dried up. I was punished to kneel in the ancestral hall. He felt indignant on my behalf. She accompanied me into the ancestral hall. She said, if it were me, I'd kill those 2 people. She is so cute. I didn't kneel before the prayer cushion. In my previous life, I'd already had enough of being an obedient and sensible young lady from a prestigious family. In this life, I don't care anymore. I offered incense to the ancestors, then opened the window and had He take me away. He froze. Huh? I smiled. Let's go. Weren't we going to kill those 2 people? Let's go now. You aren't going to kneel? I took a deep look at the ancestral tablets. Nah, one's own ancestors wouldn't bear to see their own descendants suffer. My rebirth might even be something the ancestors begged for by kowtowing until their heads broke in the underworld. How could they blame me? They'd only feel sorry for me. He was in a daze. She pulled me along as we climbed out the window and over the wall. I commented, your strength and Shingon are both a bit lacking. Like this, you won't be able to catch up with Gu Feiyan. He took me to hide near the Lu family residence. The sky had long since turned pitch black. In the courtyard of Lu's mother, Madame Qian, there was a commotion. Madame Qian was probably in a foul mood. As her scolding voice faintly echoed in the air, Lulian was smashing things, slapped a maid across the face, and loudly told her to get lost. Later, the candles in the courtyard were extinguished one by one. Only the candle in Lu Yu's room remained lit. He sat by the window, the candlelight casting his silhouette clearly. He is actually a very good-looking man, his appearance deceiving. Back then, we were all more or less fooled by his face. Mother said, you 2 are extremely well matched in appearance. I've also thought about whether Lu Yu and I would have treated each other with mutual respect if my looks hadn't been ruined. I think perhaps we would have, but perhaps we still would have ended in tragedy because there is no such thing as ageless beauty, and Luyu isn't exactly a sincere gentleman of consistent character. I think this is fine too, at least I never gave my heart, so it is no loss. But when I see my parents' loving devotion, I still feel regret. Father loves mother's youthful face and also loves her aging wrinkles. Mother feels tenderness for father no longer being as robust as before, and her heart aches for his graying hair. They've quietly discussed who will die first. In the end, the two of them sat facing each other in silence, tears falling quietly. Neither could bear for the other to die first, nor could they bear to leave the other behind alone in sorrow. Having witnessed the most beautiful love in this world, I understood how bleak my own situation was, and found it even more absurd. My thoughts drifted far away. Q, he suddenly tugged at my sleeve. She quietly pointed in a direction. I saw under the tranquil and desolate night sky a woman appearing furtively. After checking her surroundings, she was about to sneak into the Liu family courtyard without a sound. It was Gu Feiyan. I took out a whistle and blew it lightly. Several people immediately emerged from the darkness to intercept Ji Yufeiyan. Ji Yufeiyan's lightness skill was indeed impressive. She dodged and weaved between several people with extreme agility, but ultimately 2 fists couldn't match 4 hands, and she gradually fell into a disadvantage. Q, he was about to go forward to help, but I held her back and told her to watch quietly. Then we saw a person leap out, intercept those people, and swiftly rescue Gu Feiyan. Q, he was greatly startled and stood up abruptly. She recognized him. That person was Zuwu, she said. It is senior brother Zhu. He caught Gu Feiyan. Let's follow them and get our revenge. She was very excited. I felt a bit sorry for her. In the last life, she trained in martial arts very hard. To avenge her master and master's wife, she truly practiced like her life depended on it. She was stronger than Zuwu, but in the end, it was Zuwu who took her life because she had never suspected Zuwu. In this life, she needed to see clearly. I said, Miss Q, from now on you must conceal your tracks and cannot say a single word. If you say 1 word, I'll deduct 1 copper coin from you. On the contrary, if you can persist without saying a single word, I'll reward you with an ingot of silver. 1 ingot of silver was 10 taels. Kyuhie's eyes widened. She opened her mouth wanting to speak, but then remembered something and hastily shut her mouth tight, nodding vigorously. We followed Zuwu. We saw Zuwu bring Gu Feiyan to a safe grove. He reluctantly let go of Gu Feiyan, stepped back, turned his face away, and said coldly, Miss Gu, it is safe now. You're fine. Kyuhie hid with me behind a tree. Upon hearing this, her eyes went wide, and she immediately wanted to rush out. I held her tightly and signaled her to listen. Gu Feiyan, still shaken, looked around before turning to Zuwu and said with amusement, Oh, it is you. How did you end up there? Zuwu snorted coldly and turned to leave. Gu Feiyan's eyes darted around, then she cried out, Aya! In alarm, Zuwu immediately stopped in his tracks and turned back to ask, What is wrong? I twisted my ankle, it hurts so much. Gu Feiyan's face was full of pain with a leap. Zuwu quickly darted to Gu Feiyan's side, bent down to look at her foot, and kept asking her, Does it hurt here? What about here? Is it this spot? Gu Feiyan burst out laughing with a poochie sound. Brother Zuwu, you care about me? Why do you care about me so much? Zuwu realized he'd been played. He immediately let go of Gu Feiyan's foot, stood up and scolded angrily, You vixen. Always tricking people, I won't believe you again. He immediately left. Gu Feiyan hurriedly said, Hey, I did lie to you, my foot really doesn't hurt, but my heart does. That one sentence stopped Zuwu in his tracks. Zuwu halted his steps. What does your heart hurt about? Holy crap. Sister Gu Feiyan's move of my foot doesn't hurt, but my heart aches for you. I've seen green tea bitches before, but never one this shameless. She doesn't even bother to hide it, directly reading out the script for Zuwu to hear. And this guy, Zuwu, knowing full well he is being deceived. Knowing his master died because of her, knowing his junior sister hates her, yet he still stands there waiting for her explanation. Brother Zuwu, where is your rationality? Did your rationality get buried alongside your master? I learned something today. There is a type of person who specifically preys on those clear-headed people who know the other party is no good but just can't let go. Gu Feiyan is exactly that, and Zuwu is that poor soul who is both the most clear-headed and the most confused. The drama is in position, continuing to watch this unfold. Of course my heart aches for you. I know you must be very conflicted, very pained. I deliberately avoided you because I didn't want things between us to come to this, but it still turned out this way anyway. Say whatever you want, you killed my master. Between you and me, there is only deep-seated hatred. This time I'm letting you go, but next time we meet, I won't show mercy. She strode away. Gu Feiyan called out loudly, Zuwu. Turn around. Zuwu instinctively turned his head back. Gu Feiyan said with a grin, There, you've seen me again. You can come kill me now. Zuwu was so exasperated by her that his hand reached for his sword hilt. Gripped it, then let go, then gripped it again. After doing this several times, it made people want to roll their eyes. Crew, he was already so furious smoke was coming out of all 7 orifices. I gripped her wrist tightly, observing Gu Feiyan carefully. Having lived 2 lives, I really didn't understand Gu Feiyan. I didn't understand what magic she possessed that made Luyu disregard propriety and law, and made Zuwu set aside his revenge for his master's death. I wanted to watch more closely. Zuwu's face twisted with anger, yet he just couldn't bring himself to draw his sword. Jiu Feiyan threw herself into Zuwu's arms with a smile, hugging his waist as she said softly, Brother Zuwu, I knew you couldn't bear to kill me. Now that you won't make a move against me this time, you'll never make a move against me again in the future, right? I know the anguish in your heart. You hate me for ruining your master's retirement ceremony, but do you know why I did such a thing? Why, with soft jade and warm fragrance in his arms, Zuwu visibly relaxed. He seemed to be eagerly awaiting Gu Feiyan to give him a reasonable excuse, so he could let go of his moral burden and no longer need to avenge Song Yishan. Gu Feiyan released Zuwu and said coldly with pride, Isn't it all your master's fault? It would have been fine if your master just wanted to retire from the Jianghu himself, but he insisted on making you retire with him too. Forbidding you from associating with me anymore. He said I always stir up trouble, and that I only have martial skills but no sense of reason. I heard every word of this. I repay kindness and grudges, and kind he treated me poorly. So naturally I had to retaliate. What is your master allowed to badmouth me? But I'm not allowed to strike back. She looked up at Zuwu and seeing his expression darken, immediately became anxious. You still want to blame me, don't you? It was his own bad luck that he got killed. I just wanted to make him taste the pain of being misunderstood. If you want to blame me, then kill me right now. I won't resent you for it. She stretched out her neck with a stubborn look of readiness to die, making one feel both hateful and loving towards her. Zuwu let out a long sigh, seemingly quite helpless. You know very well I won't kill you. Gu Feiyan turned from anger to joy, charming and adorable in her coquettishness. Brother Zuwu, I knew you were the best. A trace of a smile emerged on Zuwu's icy face, but soon he put away his smile and asked, What is the deal with you going to the Liu family? I heard you made a big scene at the Marquis Manor's wedding banquet today. Do you have a crush on the Marquis Manor's heir? When did things start between you and him? Gu Feiyan wasn't flustered at all. She said righteously, I do like him. So what? I've always seen you as my older brother. Unless do you like me? She stared at Zuwu without blinking. Zuwu was infuriated. He didn't want to admit it yet, seemed unwilling to deny it either. You, who likes you? Gu Feiyan said matter-of-factly, If you don't like me, then can I like someone else? Zuwu was furious to death, yet never willing to say the word like, as if saying it would put him completely beneath Gu Feiyan. Gu Feiyan let out a light snort, tilting her chin slightly upward, her fingers twirling her hair. With a charming and adorable demeanor, she glanced sideways at Zuwu, seeing how angry he looked. She couldn't help but let out a long sigh. Brother Zuwu, stop being angry. You know very well that nothing is possible between us. Why is it impossible? Your master's death stands between us. Although I didn't kill him, people don't know the truth and won't see it that way. They'll gossip about us. Can you really not care about what people say? And there is your junior sister. I've heard she is extremely stubborn. If you really get together with me, she won't just kill me. She'll kill you too. What will you do then? I don't want you to end up betrayed and abandoned by everyone, and I don't want you caught in a dilemma. Brother Zuwu, calling each other siblings is the best outcome for us. We truly have no fate in this life. You'll respect me and give me your blessing, won't you? In my heart, you'll always be my brother. She spoke as if she were about to cry. Zuwu's heart softened, his face full of distress. He spoke agitatedly, I won't let my junior sister kill you. I'll find a way. But what is the use of you liking him? He is the son of the powerful and privileged. You're a woman of the Jianghu. Besides, he is already getting married. A man like that isn't worthy of you. So what if he is the son of the powerful? I, Gu Feiyan, am worthy of anyone. Besides, it is because I rejected him that he went to marry someone else. Then why are you making a scene at someone else's wedding? You clearly can't let go. Yes, I can't let go. I want to see what kind of woman he is marrying. I'm still heartbroken and miserable, so why does he get to have a beauty in his arms? I was jealous. That is why I went to wreck his wedding banquet. I want him to remember what I look like for all eternity. I won't allow him to even glance at anyone else. I just want to ruin that woman, make her despised by everyone. I'm just a despicable, petty person trapped by love. Are you satisfied now? Gu Feiyan was being completely unreasonable, but Zhuwu panicked instead. His eyes filled with confusion, such a big man. Not knowing what to do with his hands and feet. I didn't say that, but that is clearly what you're thinking. I am not kill that slutty woman for me, then I'll believe you. You're being ridiculous. Yes, I'm being ridiculous. I'm immature. Are you regretting knowing me now? If that is the case, let's never see each other again. Gu Feiyan gnashed her teeth, stamped her feet in anger, executed her qinggong, leapt onto a tree, tapped her toes lightly, and in a few bounds had already disappeared without a trace. Zhuwu stood there, stunned. Ultimately let out a long sigh of frustration and got up to chase after her. Right at this moment, he swiftly flicked out a pebble, striking Zhuwu's temple. She struck with extreme force. Zhuwu let out a muffled grunt and fell to the ground. He rushed over, furiously added a chopping strike with her hand to make him completely pass out, and only then tied him up. She kicked Zhuwu's body several times in anger. Damn it, damn it, damn it. How can you face Master? How can you face Master's wife? She never dreamed that her master would have his family destroyed just because he said a few things against Gu Feiyan, and she never imagined that Zhuwu and Gu Feiyan knew each other and had mutual feelings. She felt it was unfair to her master and master's wife. They had raised such an ungrateful wretch. Nice. Sister Ku He is pebble throw just now made this palace's blood boil. Did you all notice how he didn't say a single word the whole time, holding it in so hard just for that one ingot of reward money, and then at the crucial moment struck with such precision, directly knocking out Zhuwu, that heartless man disguised as a devoted lover. This palace gives his character full marks. Also, Gu Feiyan's whole logic of I don't like you, but you can't like anyone else either. I'm hurt, so I ruined someone else. This palace has witnessed what real high-level emotional blackmail looks like. She even said herself, I'm just a despicable person. Yet Zhuwu still stood there not knowing what to do with his hands and feet. This palace mourns for Zhuwu's IQ for 3 seconds. Okay, 3 seconds are up, back to watching the drama. I also feel it is unfair to myself in my past life. My entire life was truly wasted because of these 3 lunatics. I blew my whistle, waited a moment, and several people came at the sound and threw Gu Feiyan on the ground. These were people from the Imperial Fragrance Tower. They chased after Gu Feiyan and very easily took down the completely unprepared Gu Feiyan. I searched her and found 2 bottles of ointment, 1 bottle of wushuang ink, and another bottle that smelled very similar to the antidote for wushuang ink that famous doctors had once concocted, but it still needed to be confirmed. I locked the 2 of them in a secret room at one of the Lai family's estates. I imprisoned them separately. I also blindfolded them, then splashed them awake with water. The first one I interrogated was Gu Feiyan. After she woke up, she turned her head around in confusion and said sternly, "Who are you? What do you want?" I remained silent. He coldly whipped Gu Feiyan and pretended to say angrily, "You harmed my brother. Of course I'm here for revenge. Tell me, where is the antidote for wushuang ink?" Gu Feiyan said. "Your Lulian?" He let out a light snort and didn't deny it. Gu Feiyan wasn't that angry anymore and relaxed a bit. It seemed that in her eyes, Lulian would never harm her life no matter what. So Lulian already knew about Gu Feiyan at this time. I was dazed for a moment, and the unwillingness and anger in my heart kept surging up continuously, lingering and lingering like weeping and lamenting. Gu Feiyan said, "I didn't mean to harm your brother. It was that cheap woman. She has no feelings for your brother at all. Otherwise, how could she hide behind your brother and make me accidentally?" He heavily whipped Gu Feiyan again. "You're the fucking Temdi. Is my brother and sister-in-law's business any of yours to meddle in? Who told you to debase yourself like a Ferdy and go make a scene at someone else's wedding?" Didn't your parents teach you manners and propriety? Or do you have no parents and were raised like a beast by heaven and earth? Give me the antidote and I'll spare your life, otherwise I'll slash your face. She pulled out a dagger, the cold blade pressing against Jiu Feiyan's tender cheek. Gu Feiyan finally seemed to feel afraid, suppressing her rage, and said coldly, "The antidote is on me." He pretended to search her body, naturally finding nothing. She raised her hand and slapped Gu Feiyan across the face with a sharp sound. "You're lying to me, you don't have any antidote on you at all. How could that be? It must be there. Keep looking." Gu Feiyan grew anxious. His voice was stern and cold. "If it is not there, it is not there. Are you deliberately trying to harm my brother? If my brother's official career is damaged, he will never forgive you for the rest of his life. This dynasty had a regulation: officials must have proper appearance and sound bodies. If Liu Yu couldn't quickly remove the ink marks from his face, his official career would be finished, and he would never again be able to hold high position with power in his grasp like in his previous life." Jiu Feiyan was nearly in tears from anxiety. "It really is there. Feel again, how could I harm you, Lang?" Kuhi softened her tone slightly. "It really isn't there. Did you drop it on the road? Do you have any other way to make the antidote? This concerns my brother's entire life. No, I obtained this ointment by chance. There is only this one bottle, and only one bottle of antidote too." Kuyuhi and I exchanged glances. I let out a huge sigh of relief. That would be wonderful. He gave Jiu Feiyan a hard slap across the face, grinding her teeth. "You really screwed over my brother. Now what is he supposed to do without the antidote? You've ruined my brother, which means you've ruined the entire future of our Liu family. Jiu Feiyan, my brother will definitely kill you. Even if my brother doesn't kill you, Mother and I will never let you off. Don't even dream of entering the Liu family's door in this lifetime." Gu Feiyan's face turned deathly pale, utterly panicked. "Let Yu Lang come see me. I need to see Yu Lang. There is still a way. I bought this drug from a group of merchants from the western regions. Take the bottle and go find those western region merchants. You might be able to find the antidote." I felt completely at ease now. Merchants from the western regions who just happened to be selling this kind of drug, you'd probably have to wait 10 years before running into them again. This really was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. No wonder in my previous life. I searched all over the land but couldn't find this drug. Liu Yu was finished. My heart was greatly comforted. I grabbed the whip and lashed Gu Feiyan with it, one strike after another. In my previous life, I hated her for 20 years, yet I didn't even know where her shadow was. In this life, I could finally make my hatred fall upon her in a real and tangible way. The whip tip slashed across Gu Feiyan's face, leaving bloody whip marks on it. She screamed in agony, turning her head toward me in disbelief. "Lu Mingyue, you dare ruin my face. Your brother will never let you off." I threw down the whip, put on deerskin gloves, and applied frostless ink on the parts of her face that were torn open by the whip. The black ointment seeped into her blood-red wounds, red and black intermingling, looking especially gruesome. I admired it for a while, feeling my once-dried heart being injected with vitality bit by bit. This was the karmic retribution I wanted. I walked out of the secret chamber to interrogate Zuwu in another room. This time, Kyuhi watched while I conducted the interrogation. Zuwu identified our positions by sound. Probably figuring out there were two people, he said coldly. "Who are you people? Why did you kidnap me?" I said calmly, "You don't need to worry about who I am. I need you to help me with something. Your junior sister is in my hands. As long as you're willing to help me kill Liu Yu, I'll release your junior sister. How about it?" He slowed his breathing, clenched his fists, and watched Zuwu's reaction with grave eyes. A trace of extremely subtle glee flashed across Zuwu's face. He turned his head away and said coldly, "A real man has principles about what he will and won't do. I will never be coerced by you into committing murder and robbery. You don't care about your junior sister's life anymore. Each person has their own fate. Do as you please. What about Gu Feiyan? Don't you care about Gu Feiyan's life either?" Zuwu tensed up, his face full of indignation, gnashing his teeth. "You people are truly despicable." He and I both fell silent. What responded to him was my vicious whip. I beat him mercilessly without holding back. I hate him for being selfish and self-serving in my past life, deceiving and lying to me. He was really killed by him. He still has the nerve to come here asking me for money. This bastard, I got tired from hitting him. Cool, he took over. Zuwu screamed miserably, blood seeping through his clothes, and he quickly became covered in blood. I said indifferently, "What a tough bone, but I wonder if Gu Feiyan can withstand this beating." "Stop. You guys, don't hit her. I'll go kill Lu Yu." Zuwu gasped to stop them, then said coldly, "I know who you are. You're Lu Yu's fiancé. Shut up. I have nothing to do with him anymore. He is my enemy now." I knew I had lost my composure, but for some reason, I couldn't stand hearing that I was Lu Yu's fiancé. It made me sick, deeply sick. Zuwu sighed deeply and advised me, "Miss Li, Lu Yu doesn't like you. Just let go. You're talented and beautiful, with a good family background. You can marry anyone you want. Why waste your time on one tree?" I felt it was absurd. In my past life, he quietly stayed by Gu Feiyan's side for so many years, even dying together with her. I thought he was obstinate, but I didn't expect him to be so open-minded. It seems that principles are meant to convince others, but when it comes to oneself, no principles work. I sneered mockingly. "Can't compare to your magnanimity, being able to watch the one you love with another man right before your eyes, even thoughtfully tucking in their blankets for them, and even killing your love rival's rival, all just to get your beloved to notice you. Such broad-mindedness indeed, truly admirable. You, Zuwu was furious beyond words, yet couldn't utter a single sentence in rebuttal. He simply said, "I'll go kill Lu Yu. I hope you keep your word and release Gu Feiyan." "Good, it is a deal. I'll have people watching you. If you deliberately reveal my identity to Lu Yu, I'll chop Gu Feiyan into mincemeat and feed her to the dogs." Zuwu shuddered with fear. I signaled Ku He to leave, ordered someone to feed Zuwu a muting pill, then had him untied. Zuwu was furious beyond measure. I said, "It is just a muting pill to keep you from talking. It'll wear off automatically within 12 hours, completely harmless to people. This was given by the assassins from the Imperial Fragrance Pavilion. In my previous life, I gave up halfway and never cooperated with them this deeply, so I never even knew about it. Regrettable." Zuwu snorted coldly. As the drug gradually took effect, he slowly forced out a sentence. "Why must you do this? You and Gu Feiyan don't even know each other. Where does such great hatred come from?" His questions stunned me, in this life, in others' eyes. It was merely Gu Feiyan trying to smear me, but ending up smearing Lu Yu instead. We indeed have no deep hatred or grievance. My actions were excessive. I suddenly felt the bitterness of rebirth. No one knows your grievances, hatred, and resentment. They only think you went too far. You shouldn't have, you should have. But I quickly figured out one thing: I shouldn't explain myself to others, nor should I prove anything to them. If I want to do something, I'll just do it. Why should there be so much that needs explaining? I let out a faint laugh. You and Lu Yu were also strangers. So let me ask you, did Gu Feiyan ever save your life, yet you treat him this way? Before the muting drug took full effect, Zuwu forced out one last sentence. "She never saved me, but I'm smitten with her. I'd willingly die for her." He left in a fury, but before leaving, he insisted on hearing Gu Feiyan's voice before he'd feel at ease to go. What a romantic fool. The wait was long. Q, he asked, can he actually kill Lu Yu? I nodded, then shook my head. As long as he goes to kill him, that is enough. The outcome doesn't matter. As long as he goes to kill. The people I've arranged will make him expose his identity at the critical moment, and then he'll receive a wanted notice from the court. He'll never be able to stay at inns normally, buy and sell things normally. He'll have to hide for the rest of his life. When the time comes, I'll let him leave with Gu Feiyan. But I'll tell Gu Feiyan that he went and killed Lu Yu. I just hope Gu Feiyan will still feel sorry for him, understand him, and won't resent or hate him. Right now, I feel like a villain and my blood pumps with excitement thinking about the bad things I'm about to do. Q, he touched my forehead. Miss Lee, your smile is so scary. After I finished laughing, I restrained my smile and told Q-hee a story. Once there was a woman who was virtuous and gentle, filial to her parents-in-law, raised her sister-in-law, and treated her husband as heaven. Her husband's family was quite satisfied with her, but one day a big black mole grew on her face. That mole grew bigger and bigger, occupying half of her face. From then on, her husband despised her, her parents-in-law scolded her. Even her sister-in-law showed her no respect, but she still did her utmost to take care of them. She thought, having already lost her appearance, she couldn't lose her reputation too. These were the foundation of her standing. But later one day, she discovered that the mole on her face was caused by poison deliberately administered by her husband, because her husband had fallen in love with a young and beautiful woman and kept that woman outside, treating her like precious treasure. That woman didn't have to serve parents-in-law, didn't have to raise a sister-in-law, and was spoiled, willful, and unreasonable. Yet the husband was utterly smitten with her. Not only did he go out of his way to please her, he also promised her a lifetime together as a devoted couple, vowing never to touch another woman, and the parents-in-law praised that woman for bearing sons and daughters, and the sister-in-law also liked her and was closer to her. In the end, the son that woman bore inherited the family business. Her daughter married a son-in-law who joined the family, and she got everything. The legitimate wife was instead despised, detested, and insulted by people. Clearly, those people relied on the legitimate wife's hard work to have a stable life, yet they even cursed her for being greedy. Kyuhee, I can't understand why a virtuous and kind woman only received infamy, while that concubine got everything. Why is that? He fell silent. I was also silent. Her gaze quietly looked at me, unable to speak for a long time. After a long while, she spoke Li Shangjun. You see me now avenging my master and master's wife, but actually I wasn't the child my master and master's wife loved most. They liked Zuwu more, and the successor they chose to uphold the sect was Zuwu. She had been an unlikable child since she was young. Zuwu didn't like her, thinking she was ugly and her abilities were mediocre. When she was young and ignorant, she called him Big Brother. Zuwu angrily warned her to never call him Big Brother, only to call him Senior Marshal Brother. She understood Zuwu's disdain, and from then on only properly called him Senior Marshal Brother, never getting close again. The Song Yishan couple also preferred Zuwu, feeling that he was a man, and his appearance was also dignified and imposing, not bringing shame to the sect. So Zuwu only needed to practice martial arts, while she had to both practice martial arts and do many chores. Li Shangjun, you see, this world is full of malice toward girls with ordinary looks. Because of my plain appearance, I lost my master and master's wife's regard, and my senior marshal brother's affection. But so what? That only proves most people in the world are mediocre. I just need to become not mediocre. You know what? Before Master retired from the martial world, he told me that I actually have great talent in swordsmanship. He said he was retiring and no longer needed someone to uphold the school's reputation, so he would teach me his ultimate techniques fairly. Li Shangjun, at that moment I felt so relieved, but I was also sad. Beautiful people don't need to fight for it. Someone just hands them martial arts manuals, but someone plain like me has to work very hard just to be treated fairly. But I don't resent Master and Master's wife. They gave me a life. Everyone is imperfect. Just like I'm imperfect in appearance, they're imperfect in their thinking. That is all. Once I think of it this way, I'm no longer sad. Avenging Master and Master's wife isn't entirely for them. It is for my future self. I hope when I'm 30, 40, 50 years old, I can look back on my youth without any regrets. Li Shangjun, I live for myself. This is my way of the sword. I can't answer your question, but I believe there is justice in this world. Otherwise, we wanderers wouldn't be here helping the weak and fighting wrongs. If I meet that woman, I can't give her an answer, but I'll kill that adulterous couple for her. I felt deep respect for her. I had found a treasure. She was a pearl lost in the sea. Kyuhee, I've been thinking about a lot of things too. For us young ladies from noble families, we've been taught since childhood to be virtuous and well-mannered, to value our reputation, and to consider our family's honor and disgrace in every word and deed. In fact, we do rely on our families for our livelihood. Without my family's protection, I wouldn't have been able to smoothly break off my engagement with Lu Yu. My family is like my turtle shell. When I encounter danger, I can retreat into it, but ordinarily, I have to carry the turtle shell and walk slowly to prevent it from getting damaged. It is somewhat tiring, but I can't just enjoy the benefits of the turtle shell without bearing its burdens. That question you asked, actually, I've thought about it carefully too. Good women lose everything, bad women get everything. That is just what I thought. In fact, at the end of that story, the legitimate wife killed her husband, his mistress's children. and she herself was also executed, but the emperor upheld justice for her and confiscated her husband's family property. The empress pitied her and granted her a divorce before her death. You see, stepping outside that original family, good people are still good people and bad people are still bad people. The so-called justice lies in people's hearts. That is what it means. If in a certain environment, good people become bad people, then it is definitely not the people who are wrong, but the environment that is wrong. You just need to step out of it. Kyuhi, I haven't found my own path yet, but I believe that one day I will find it, and I hope that every person who suffers humiliation can become their own hero without having to wait for someone to come save them. This day was the happiest day since my rebirth. I suddenly felt that the heavy turtle shell on my body became somewhat transparent and also somewhat harder. I suddenly realized that this shell doesn't necessarily have to be a heavy burden. It can also be hard yet light enough to carry me up to the ninth heaven. Before long, a servant came to report that Zuwu had returned, but he had blood on him, and it looked like the assassination had failed. Kyuhi and I exchanged glances. I hurried to see Zuwu, while Kyuhi hid in the shadows. Zuwu's face was full of rage, his sword pointing at me. But upon seeing the layers of guards surrounding me, he resentfully sheathed his sword. The assassin who had followed him there reported to me in a low voice. There were no guards defending Lu Yu's home. Zuwu charged straight into Lu Yu's room and stabbed Lu Yu in the chest with his sword. Just as he was about to kill Lu Yu, the assassin followed him in, called out Zuwu's name, and then slashed Zuwu's leg. This commotion alerted the Lu family's guards. Zuwu, dragging his injured leg, barely managed to escape after much difficulty. He already knew this was my deliberate doing, and now he hates me to death. I listened with a cheerful mood. Lu Yu's lack of defenses was probably to make it convenient for Ji Yufeiyan to come and go from the courtyard. He was certain that Gu Feiyan would definitely come to deliver the antidote to him, but he never would have dreamed that it would be his love rival who came instead. As for Zuwu, he is about to receive an arrest warrant issued by the imperial court and can look forward to a life of being pointed at and gossiped about. Congratulations are in order. I carefully savored Zuwu's anger and said with a smile, I keep my word. I'll release Ji Yufeiyan now, come with me. Zuwu was escorted by guards, enduring the pain in his injured leg as he hobbled after me into another secret chamber. Gu Feiyan heard the commotion and immediately said, Who is there? Let me out, let me out. Zuwu also became agitated and was about to go see Ji Yufeiyan. I had my men hold Zuwu down, allowing him to hear Gu Feiyan's voice, but preventing him from seeing her. I walked up to Gu Feiyan and pulled off the cloth covering her eyes, meeting her gaze openly for the first time. Gu Feiyan said angrily, It is you. That is right. It is me. My emotions had calmed considerably. Sure enough, having one's great revenge satisfied brings peace of mind. Nian, you're truly despicable. If Yu Lang knew what you've done, he would never marry you as his wife again. A woman as vicious as you doesn't deserve to be his wife. He doesn't deserve to be my husband. You and he are the perfect match. I took out the antidote, this currently one-of-a-kind antidote, the thing I yearned for desperately but couldn't obtain in my previous life holding it in my hand. In this life still felt unreal. I steadied myself and, in front of Gu Feiyan, poured out some of the antidote from the bottle, leaving only a small amount enough for just one person. Gu Feiyan's eyes widened in disbelief. Are you insane? How could you do this? I said indifferently. There is only one antidote, but right now there are 2 people poisoned, Lu Yu and Zuwu. Who do you want me to give this antidote to? Gu Feiyan's expression changed repeatedly. You captured brother Zuwu. You vicious woman, I knew you had bad intentions. You deliberately tricked me, didn't you? You're so obsessed with Lu Yu that you must have kept an antidote for him. So if I choose Zuwu, I'd be falling into your trap. Is Yu Lang outside listening to our conversation? You're bluffing me. Ha, if you don't choose, then you don't want to save anyone. So I'll just throw away the antidote. I made a motion to toss the bottle. Gu Feiyan screamed. I choose Lu Yu. I paused. Why? I'm in love with him. What about Zuwu then? He came to assassinate me for your sake, but ended up captured by me instead. He gave up his revenge for his master's death for you, and was even prepared to kill his martial sister, fearing she would come seeking revenge on you. He has done so much that deserve a bottle of antidote from you. Gu Feiyan froze, stunned for a very, very long time, she murmured to herself. He actually treats me this well. On the other end, Zuwu listened quietly, not daring to utter a word. His face was full of grief and indignation, as if he too desperately wanted to know Gu Feiyan's reaction. After a long while, Jiu Feiyan violently shook her head as if trying to shake out all that momentary emotion. I only see Zuwu as a brother. Even if his appearance is damaged, I won't despise him. At worst, I'll support him like a brother for the rest of our lives. Jiu Feiyan spoke with determination. Zuwu's face turned ashen. I felt the pleasure of crushing someone's heart. I clapped my hands and praised, "Miss, you truly have such righteousness." Now, here comes the second question. I did deceive you earlier, in fact. The ones who were struck by this wushuang ink are you and Lu Yu. This time, what will you choose? I ordered someone to hold up a prepared bronze mirror in front of Jiu Feiyan. At first, Jiu Feiyan was dismissive, but very quickly she stared at the mirror and screamed. "My face, Li Shengjun, how vicious your heart is, how dare you treat me like this?" Her face was full of ferocity. Her pretty and charming face was covered with venomous hatred, and her beautiful eyes seemed to be spitting fire so different from the Jiu Feiyan I had seen in my previous life, radiating with the glow of happiness. Happiness makes people shine brilliantly, but hatred drains a person's vitality and spirit. She was falling step by step, seemingly dropping to the same level I had once been at. But it is not enough, still far from enough. I stepped back looking at her very calmly. "Choose. Do you choose Lu Yu or yourself?" Gu Feiyan was in great pain. This time she was truly in pain. Tears streamed down her face, her emotions struggling. Her eyes looked at me pitifully, hoping I would have mercy on her. But in my previous life, she showed me no mercy. In this life, I will show her none either. My heart is as hard as iron. Gu Feiyan's expression was desolate as she slowly knelt down. "Li Shangjun, I know I was wrong, but I didn't actually harm you, did I? Why do you hate me so much?" My chest felt terribly congested. She didn't harm me. That is because I was reborn, because I was clever, because I was quick to react. What does any of that have to do with her? I said coldly, "Choose yourself or Lu Yu." 3, 2, I raised the bottle high and slowly loosened my grip under Jiu Feiyan's horrified gaze. "Me, choose me," Gu Feiyan screamed. I caught the bottle with my other hand. Gu Feiyan collapsed limply on the ground, as if she'd lost all her strength. "Gu Feiyan, your love is nothing more than this." I tossed the medicine bottle at her. Afraid the bottle would shatter, she hastily grabbed it. "This is really the antidote." I didn't answer her. She could use it or not, whatever. I wanted her to overthink, to torture herself, to struggle in pain. A quick blade to kill, that is satisfying vengeance. A slow blade to grind someone down, that is mortal enmity. The psychological torture I endured, she would have to endure as well. "You can go now, you're being this kind." I scoffed lightly and left with my people, leaving only Zuwu and Jiu Feiyan behind. Jiu Feiyan's face turned pale inch by inch. Zuwu looked at her, the love in his eyes replaced by indifference. This time, it wasn't coldness meant to cover something up, but true indifference. In his heart, Gu Feiyan had changed from a chivalrous woman with genuine character to a selfish and self-serving petty person. Although he was also a petty person, even petty people yearn for good people and detest evil ones. Gu Feiyan hastily covered her face. "Don't look at me." Zuwu coldly untied the ropes binding her and turned to leave. Gu Feiyan felt his disgust, tears nearly falling. She grabbed the antidote and quickly followed after him. "Brother Zuwu, wait for me." The two came out one after the other. I looked at Gu Feiyan and smiled. "I forgot to tell you just now. Zuwu is injured, wounded in the leg." Gu Feiyan was about to comfort Zuwu when I continued. But this injury was from when Zuwu tried to assassinate Lu Yu. Lu Yu was stabbed in the chest by him, and his life or death is unknown. If you don't believe what I'm saying, why not ask Zuwu and see if he'll deny it? The expression on Gu Feiyan's face went blank for a moment. She angrily questioned Zuwu. Is what Li Shengjun said true? Zuwu's mutinous drug hadn't worn off yet. He couldn't say a word. He pointed at his throat, but Gu Feiyan, in her anger, couldn't understand. In the end, he glared at me fiercely and limped away in irritation. Gu Feiyan followed behind him, no longer with the urgency from before, only bewilderment and resentment. She didn't dare stay alone either, afraid I'd catch her again, so she could only reluctantly follow in Zuwu's footsteps. Q, he emerged from the shadows and asked, "Just let them go like that. You really gave her the antidote." I nodded. "On she has used the antidote, the nightmare will officially begin. Once she uses the antidote, she won't dare see Lu Yu again, and I'll issue a kill order so she'll have no choice but to stay with Zuwu to survive. With Zuwu being hunted by the court, he'll have no choice but to stay with her as cover. I want them to be forced together, yet forced to detest each other. That is the most satisfying punishment." By the time I returned home, the physician had already developed an enhanced version of Wushuangmo with no antidote. I looked at that small bottle of ointment and added another Jianghu kill order at the Yushanglu. I wanted them to send out their best Qinggong assassins to track Gu Feiyan. I didn't want Gu Feiyan dead. I only wanted them to leave a black mark on Gu Feiyan's face each and every time. I want Gu Feiyan to live in constant fear, unable to have a single good day. I want her to march toward old age and death with a blackened face, regretting what she has done for the rest of her life. Still, I do admire someone like her. How so? Q. He was stunned. I sighed. She is a villain who always puts herself first, never letting herself suffer. If good people could learn even half of her self-priority, they might live better lives. How to balance private interests and public interests is forever a difficult question, but I hope good people can live better lives, instead of always sacrificing and giving. Once they live well, it is as if it is a sin. It shouldn't be like this. After finishing all this, I had a wonderful sleep. I slept for 2 days and 2 nights. When I woke up, I felt refreshed and clear-headed, as if all the fatigue from my previous life had been swept away. I looked at that still young face in the mirror, but with eyes that didn't belong to a 16-year-old girl. Now I only have one enemy left, the Lu family. Q, he excitedly told me about Lu Yu's situation. Lu Yu was stabbed by Zuwu and seriously injured, now unconscious. He is a court official, so his assassination is a major incident. The capital magistrate has already issued an arrest warrant for Zuwu based on the descriptions from the Lu family members. Now wanted notices for Zuwu are posted everywhere inside and outside the city, and the Lu family took this opportunity to request leave for Lu Yu, hoping to cure the ink marks on Lu Yu's face during his treatment. Lu Yu's mother, Madame Qian, has come to thoroughly despise Jiu Feiyan, declaring she would never let such a vulgar woman enter the Lu family's door. Madame Qian also came to apologize to father and mother, on one hand saying the Lu family was unfortunate, entangled by a woman from the Jianghu, leading to their current predicament. On the other hand, saying she likes a refined young lady from a prestigious family like me, who is chaste, gentle, and obedient, and still hopes the two families can set aside old grievances and become in-laws. Her parents threw her things out and ordered that all ties with the Lu family be severed from then on. If anyone from the Lu family dared to come to their door again, they would be beaten and driven away. Madame Qian knew she had no way to persuade my parents, so she began actively seeking out famous doctors to treat Lu Yu. But no matter how many medicines were tried, not only did the ink mark not fade, it actually looked deeper and more horrifying. The Lu family spent money like water every day. Lulian hadn't gone out to play or shop in a long time, and she began to resent Lu Yu somewhat. The Lu household now had constant quarrels and fights, with none of the happy, harmonious atmosphere from before. A smile involuntarily spread across my lips. I once heard someone say that if you want to quickly bond with someone, badmouth a third person together. I used to be the one they talked about. By gossiping about me, they built an alliance and united tightly together. Now, without me, and unable to find a common enemy, they could only attack each other and fall apart. How satisfying. Q, he hesitated again before saying, "Li Shangjun, your reputation might be ruined, but I think it is nothing. What do you think?" I nodded with a smile. It really is nothing. Who doesn't talk about others behind their backs, and who isn't talked about behind their back? I'm not a saint, and I can't expect others to be saints either. As long as I'm doing better and better, there will be more and more people saying good things. I just need to make sure I'm living well, and that is enough. Those in power are always surrounded by people who go along with them. I've simply lost power. That is all. When I grasp power in my hands, I believe everyone around me will be good people. At that time, I'll actually need to guard against the good people around me and listen more to different voices. I started managing my own dowry. With the experience from my previous life, doing these things came even more naturally. I could even make up for the regrets of my past life, finding my former capable subordinates ahead of time and running the shops even more brilliantly. In just 3 short months, my shop became popular, and the new products I launched became known at an extremely fast pace. Far fewer people gossiped about me now. Instead, they all said that someone with my kind of temperament was the type to accomplish great things. I finally understood one saying, "History is written by the victors." Once I understood this point, I cared even less about rumors and gossip, only focusing wholeheartedly on my own affairs. One day I saw Lu Yu. The moment I saw him, I knew he had also been reborn. His eyes were solemn, concealing the intimidating aura of someone in power, but paired with that face covered by a veil, it seemed somewhat laughable. He asked me straight out whether Jiu Feiyan had been captured by me. Looking at him, I found a reassuring sense of meeting a worthy opponent. The suffering of my previous life could finally find a foothold of sufficient weight in this life. After all, he was the root cause of all my suffering, and I had been waiting for this day all along. The corners of my lips curved into a mocking arc as I slowly walked up to him and reached out to mercilessly pull away the veil on his face. "Young Master Lu, why are you covering your face? Is there something on your face that can't be seen by others?" He panicked for a moment, then stared at me with angry eyes. "Li Shengjin, you've gone too far." I carefully admired the ink marks on his face, extending from his cheek to near his ear, with a blank spot in the middle skin that Gu Feiyan hadn't pinched at the time, making the ink marks look broken. And somewhat laughable, "Young Master Lu once told me that you didn't find me distasteful, that I needn't hide and appear ridiculous. Now I'm telling you the same thing, young Master Lu. I won't laugh at you, so you don't need to hide in front of me either." It does look quite laughable, though. Those same words piercing into him, I felt a sense of satisfaction. So this is what it feels like to cast aside morality and be a villain. Lu Yu fell silent. "I'm sorry," I froze for a moment. "What did I just hear? I'm sorry, but I didn't feel satisfied at all. I only felt angry. Could my 20 years of suffering be resolved with a single, 'I'm sorry'? It couldn't. It never could." I let out a light laugh and took out a box of scar removal cream. "Young Master Lu, the person you're looking for, isn't here, and I don't know where your Miss Gu has gone, but you and I both know how vicious the Wushuang ink is. Why don't you cut away that piece of flesh? I have excellent scar removal cream here that I can sell to you cheaply." Lu Yu bent down and bowed to me. "Everything before was my fault, but in the last life when my Lu family was raided and exiled, your revenge was already taken. In this life we should owe each other nothing. Tell me Gu Feiyan's whereabouts, and from now on all grudges between us will be erased. As compensation, I'm willing to give you 10 shop properties of the Lu family." I looked at him coldly and said indifferently, "Young Master Lu, how about this, you endure this face for 20 years. And after 20 years, I'll tell you Jiu Feiyan's whereabouts. At that time, you won't even be 40 yet. You can still start over. What do you think?" Lu Yu's lips pressed tightly together. "After being husband and wife, must you really do this? Whether grievances are settled or not, whether they end or not, is for the victim to decide. Not for you to decide, Lu Yu. Between you and me there is absolutely no affection, only enmity. I'm waiting to see your retribution." Lu Yu's expression turned grave, his eyes sharp and piercing. Then he turned and left with a flick of his sleeves. In the last life, Lu Yu rose to a third-rank official, wielding power and authority, a highly valued pillar minister. I won't underestimate him. Soon Qiu He found out that Lu Yu was inquiring about Gu Feiyan's whereabouts at the Royal Fragrance House. But the Royal Fragrance House refused him, because the Royal Fragrance House wouldn't take on 2 conflicting contracts at the same time. But from this, Lu Yu deduced that I was hunting down Jiu Feiyan. He quickly contacted the Scattered Flowers Pavilion, the Royal Fragrance House's rival, with only one request: protect Gu Feiyan and bring her before him. Thinking of what Gu Feiyan is like now, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Qiu He had once gone to see Gu Feiyan. She used the antidote to wash off the Wushuang ink from her face and managed to coax Zuwu again. But she clearly felt that Zuwu no longer cherished her as much as before. When she threw tantrums, Zuwu would no longer coax her. Instead, he'd let out a cold laugh, turn around, and leave. She left in a huff, but was quickly caught up by assassins from Yuxiang Tower, ending up with another ink mark on her face. But this time there was no antidote left. She was terrified to the extreme and hurried to find Zuwu, only to see that he was wanted and being pursued by court officers. She helped Zuwu, and after the two escaped, they left the capital city in disguise. heading to the western regions to search for an antidote to wushuang ink. I'm really looking forward to the scene when she goes through countless hardships to reach the western regions, finds the antidote to wushuang ink, only to discover that the original antidote can't remove the wushuang ink now on her face. That will definitely be hilarious. And during this process, she was found by people from Yuxiang Tower twice more. Now she has 3 ink marks on her face, making her look like a tabby cat. In order to get Zhuwu to help her, she gave herself to him. I'm really curious what will happen if Lu Yu finds her. That will definitely be spectacular. I notified Yuxiang Tower to suspend the assassination, with payment still made, waiting for the right moment to restart the hunt. Not long after, Gu Feiyan was found by Lu Yu's people and brought to the capital city. On this day, I openly visited the Lu residence. Qiu He followed behind me, along with the master I hired for her. The 2 of them guarded me as we headed to the guest hall with heads held high. I looked at the familiar pavilions and towers, feeling that the Lu family seemed to have fallen into decline. In my previous life, the Lu family was thriving with lush foliage, flourishing flowers, and plants. The painted decorations on the pavilions and towers were regularly restored and touched up. The pond water was regularly cleaned and filtered, and the pavilions in the water were also maintained with tung oil. Every plant and tree showed care and attention. But now everything in the Lu family looked gloomy and shabby. When I entered, Zhuwu had been knocked to the ground, one leg bent at a twisted angle. Gu Feiyan's hair was disheveled, her eyes filled with tears as she looked at Lu Yu. Lu Yu lifted her chin and asked her where the antidote was. Gu Feiyan clenched her teeth and refused to say. Lu Yu pulled off the veil covering her face. His eyes widened in shock, and he let go of her hand in astonishment, retreating several steps before collapsing into an armchair. How could this be? How could this happen? I cheerfully enjoyed watching this scene, feeling much of the frustration in my heart dissipate. Gu Feiyan turned her head and saw me. She quickly put her veil back on and accused, "It is all her, it is this bitch who destroyed the antidote." I smiled and said, "Miss Gu, you're not telling the truth. I clearly gave you a choice back then." Shut up, shut up. Don't you say it. Don't say any more. Gu Feiyan covered her ears. Speak. Lu Yu roared furiously. I sat down comfortably, enjoying their rage, a smile on my face. See, I can also be happy and at ease as long as my enemy is miserable enough. Amitabha. I'll donate some money to Jingnian Nunnery later. Seeing that I kept my mouth shut, Lu Yu vented his anger on Gu Feiyan. Speak, why won't you say it? Gu Feiyan refused to speak, no matter what. Zhuwu, who was lying on the ground, suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and sneered. She naturally doesn't dare to say because Zhuwu, Gu Feiyan screamed. But Zhuwu completely ignored her and continued on his own, because there was only one antidote left. Li Shangjun made her choose whether to give the antidote to you or use it herself. Heh, Lu Yu. Gu Feiyan chose herself. She chose herself. Gu Feiyan's face turned ashen. Lu Yu was thunderstruck. Zhuwu laughed maniacally, excited by his enemy's defeat. But as he laughed, tears streamed down his face. Gu Feiyan, you disgust me. I actually harmed my master and master's wife for a woman like you. If I could live again, I would kill you. I would definitely dismember you into pieces. He roared out loud. Gu Feiyan's lips trembled as she looked at Lu Yu pleadingly. You lying. It is not like that. I was too scared. I was afraid you'd find me ugly and abandon me. I was really afraid, Lu Yu said through gritted teeth. You didn't trust me. Gu Feiyan froze for a moment, then screamed in accusation. How am I supposed to trust you? How long have we even been apart? And you're already getting married. You're so fickle with me. Why should I still trust you? If I hadn't crashed your wedding, you and Li Shangjun would already be living happily together. Would you have even remembered there was a Gu Feiyan in the martial arts world waiting for you? You said you fell for me at first sight back then. Was it really because I saved you, or wasn't it just lust at first sight? What is wrong with me cherishing my own appearance? Today's outcome was caused by your fickleness. The fault isn't mine. Gu Feiyan is my enemy. But right now, I admire her. Someone like her will probably always sleep soundly at night. The hall fell silent. Everyone seemed to have lost all their strength, Lu Yu said desperately. What does a woman's appearance matter? What you want is nothing more than your husband's affection, and I can give you that. But do you know what will happen if I have ink marks on my face? I'll never be able to hold office for the rest of my life. His Majesty will forget I even exist. My Lu family will be kicked out of the capital city's elite circles. The Marquis Manor's title will end with my generation. Only by achieving something significant can I beg His Majesty for mercy. So our son can inherit the title, but because of your selfishness, all of this is ruined. What about our children? Have you even thought about that? He confused his past and present lives. By the time he realized it, he had no desire left to explain. Gu Feiyan looked confused and bewildered. I said indifferently, who says a woman's appearance isn't important? A woman's appearance isn't just occasionally shown to others. Most importantly, it is for ourselves to see. If you want to live in this world with dignity, are we women not human? Don't we need to live in this world with dignity and beauty? Ha, ridiculous. Gu Feiyan said, that is right, I'm not wrong. How rare to actually be on the same side as an enemy in this lifetime. I found it extremely boring. I clapped my hands. And a pair of constables came in, lifted Zhu up, and walked out. Zhu was a major criminal of the court. After I discovered that Zhu had been captured by Lu Yu, I immediately sent someone to report to the magistrate of Jingzhou. As a result, I received 50 taels of reward silver from the magistrate of Jingzhou. I gave some to those constables who followed along, only asking them to wait and let me finish watching the show before coming in to arrest him. Zhu was led away with his head down, not even glancing at Jiu Feiyan. When passing by Qiu he said in a low voice, I'm sorry. Qiu, he stepped back, afraid of being contaminated by something dirty. I fell silent for 3 seconds. Zhu, this guy did a pile of bad things, and at the very end said, I'm sorry before leaving. These 3 words, said to Qiu came 20 years too late. And on Qiu He's side, she stepped back, afraid of getting contaminated with something dirty. Sis's reaction was the highest EQ moment of this entire arc. No scolding, no crying, no forgiveness, just stepping back clean and clear, completely indifferent. In contrast, when Zhu left, he didn't even glance at Gu Feiyan. Her CP here completely fell apart, and the CP on Lu Yu's side was also a complete mess. My conclusion today is, in this story, only Sister Xiangjun and Sister Qiu are the ones who truly understand life. Everyone else is paying the price for their own short-sightedness. I applaud this pair of partners. I left the Lu Manor, and before leaving I told Lu Yu, there is an antidote in the western regions. Gu Feiyan knows about it. Li Xiangjun, I don't trust you. I smiled. So what? You'll still go and do it anyway. Lu Yu is an extremely arrogant person, even knowing it is a pit of fire. He'll still jump in. He'll be just like me in my previous life, searching everywhere for doctors and medicine, but coming up empty-handed, full of hope, only to end up full of disappointment. Zhu was thrown into prison not long after, he was sentenced to execution. The day he died, we were all very busy. By the time we finished, we realized he was already dead. To us, he had already become a person of no consequence. After Zhu's death, Lu Yu had people escort Gu Feiyan to the western regions to search for medicine, and I initiated the Yuxiang Lu's assassination plan. By the time Gu Feiyan arrived in the western regions, there were hardly any patches of unblemished skin left on her entire face. Everyone found her strange, thinking she had contracted some terrible disease. They all avoided her and pointed fingers at her. Her feelings toward Lu Yu changed from initially wanting sincerely to find him an antidote to wishing he would just die. Because at first, Lu Yu had hired Yuxiang Lu's rivals to protect her, but later he couldn't afford to pay them anymore and had to withdraw the protection. His people watched helplessly as Gu Feiyan was bullied. At first, they still made symbolic attempts to intervene, but later they just stood by and watched. Gu Feiyan went from initially evading and dodging to accepting her fate. Once a person accepts their fate, that is the beginning of sliding into the abyss. I figured that even if she found the antidote in the western regions, she probably wouldn't bring it back for Lu Yu. Moreover, that antidote was so hard to find. How long would it take her to locate it? Later on, Lu Yu colluded with officials to suppress my shops. He hired thugs to come and cause trouble, and had officials come to crack down on me. I dealt with this coldly because I had already squeezed all of the Lu family's shops to the point where they couldn't survive. Madame Qian had already started selling off shops, and I had acquired several of them. I had people surround all those thugs and officials, then quietly waited for good news. Soon enough, a eunuch who was a trusted aide of Her Majesty, the Empress in the palace, personally delivered a plaque that read "Righteous Merchant under Heaven." Over these years, natural disasters and man-made calamities have been constant. I begged my mother to take me into the palace to see the Empress, willing to offer all my business earnings from these years to help with disaster relief. That day, Her Majesty the Empress looked at me for a long time. She smiled and said, "This young lady does seem familiar." With just one sentence, my tears fell. In my previous life, I burned down the estate, killed those who deserved to be killed. Let the world know of the injustice done to me. The emperor sentenced me to death. But I wasn't afraid. A life for a life. That was what I deserved. What I feared most deep in my heart was that I would die as a wife of the Liu family. And even in the underworld, I would be recorded as a Liu family wife. That would be the greatest humiliation to me. It was the Empress who summoned me and took the initiative to ask if I wanted a divorce. I nodded yes. She looked at me for a long while, then slowly nodded. "You will have your wish, go now." I left in a daze. My feet had been tortured, so I walked very slowly. I heard a palace maid beside the Empress ask her, "Your Majesty the Empress, killing one's husband is a grave crime. Why would you still grant her such favor? She is a good child, she just didn't meet good people. Even a clay figure has some temper, so how can she not take revenge?" When I died, my heart was completely at peace. I thought I had encountered a good emperor and empress. I was born in a decent era, but unfortunately didn't meet decent people. If there is a next life. If there is a next life, let me live a better life. Heavens above, I beg you, reborn in this life, I seek revenge, make money, win people over. Befriend the powerful only with Her Majesty the Empress. It is not something I can repay just because I want to. I saved up money for 3 years before I felt capable enough to stand before her. Before entering the palace, I actually wanted to proudly tell her how hard I fought these 3 years, how much I accomplished these 3 years. The Liu family I took revenge on had to sell off their family assets, made Madame Qian so angry she fell ill, made it so no one has come to ask for Lulian's hand in marriage to this day. As for Lu Yu, he has now secured a measly little position in a prince's household, just hoping to bet on the right horse and turn things around following a new master in the future. I also made lots and lots of money, enough for her to face disasters with ease. But when I truly stood before her, I suddenly found myself unable to say anything, only able to kneel and bow with my mother. Until she spoke those words, tears flowed down in streams. Emotions from past and present life all surged forth in that instant. I cried uncontrollably, mother, afraid I'd lose my composure, hastily begged for mercy, but the Empress waved her hand, had someone bring hot water and a handkerchief, and after I'd cried enough, slowly said, "Good girl, what is wrong?" When I left the palace, my heart felt like it held a piece of candy, sweetly spreading its fragrance. The Empress accepted my donation and gave me 2 gifts in return. One was a plaque naming me a righteous merchant of the realm from. Now on, my business ventures would proceed without obstruction. Another one was giving the disaster relief matter to the 7th prince, if it weren't for Lu Yu serving the 4th prince. The 4th prince, knowing he was implicated because of Lu Yu, hastily kicked Lu Yu out of his advisory team. Lu Yu asked to meet me. I refused. I'm very busy. I no longer have much time to spare for the past. For me, every day is a brand new day filled with sunshine. 5 years later, the Liu family was stripped of their title, and the former marquis manor was taken back. Madame Qian fell ill. At that time, Lulian had already married into a small household, living a tight life. Hearing that Lu Yu came to borrow money to treat Madame Qian's illness, she hid in the house pretending not to be home. Lu Yu had no choice but to go out and earn money himself to support his elderly mother. But the capital city was big, and living there was not easy. Before long, Madame Qian passed away. Lu Yu couldn't afford a burial plot and had no choice but to sell off the last of the family property to bury Mother Lu, but at this time he still had a sliver of hope, wanting to wait for Jiu Feiyan to bring back the antidote from the western regions. So, I had someone deliver the antidote to Jiu Feiyan's hands. Jiu Feiyan was overjoyed and applied the medicine to her face, but it was useless. She used up the entire bottle of medicine and found it useless. Great joy was followed by great sorrow. Jiufan died in despair in the western regions. Lu Yu waited year after year and finally lost that sliver of hope. Later on, I took my lovely little daughter to offer incense at Jingyan Nunnery. Master Jingyan smiled and stroked her hair, praising, "Little girl, you're so pretty and your fortune is even better." The little daughter flashed a lovely smile, showing her cute little canine teeth. On the way down the mountain back to the capital, we encountered a beggar. My daughter said, "He is so pitiful." I looked at the scruffy Lu Yu and said coolly, "Baby, don't sympathize with others so easily. You don't know whether what you're sympathizing with is a person or a ghost. Save your kindness for those who truly need it, not for those who merely look pitiful. But don't be afraid. Mother will accompany you as you grow up, sharing in this prosperous golden age together." Golden Basin Hand, washing Golden Basin Hand. Washing is a retirement ritual in Chinese Jianghu culture, originating from martial world conventions. When Jianghu figures decide to withdraw from vendettas and conflicts and no longer roam the Jianghu, they will, witnessed by Zhongren, use a golden basin filled with water to wash their hands publicly, symbolizing that henceforth their hands are clean. All grudges are settled, and they bid farewell to the life of blades and swords. This ceremony must be held in a public setting, and no one should come seeking revenge for it to be considered successfully completed. From then on, all Jianghu grudges are wiped clean. If anyone forcibly disrupts it, it is seen as a public humiliation and provocation against the person involved.